We'll be going over the exam review. Number one, it says graph y equals x minus 1 to the third power. State the intercepts of the function. And you notice that the parent function is the blue, and then the red is the new function, and it's shifted to the right. So the other one that's shifted to the right is D. And we notice that if we go to the table, the y-intercept, we go to the table of the other function. 0, -1 is the y-intercept, and the x-intercept is 1, 0. So your answer is number 2. What is the inverse of the given relation? Remember that we're going to go ahead. The first step is to switch the y and the x variables. So we have x equals 5y squared plus 8. If we're going to solve for y, we're going to go ahead and subtract 8 from both sides. And you have x minus 8 on the left side, and then you have 5y squared. At this point, a lot of you want to get the square root, but you don't get the square root. You have to divide by 5. So you have x minus 8 divided by 5 equals y squared. You're going to get the square root of the left side, square root of the right side. So the inverse is the square root of x minus 8 divided by 5. Number 3, what is the solution of this equation? So we have the square root of x plus 12 minus 6 equals x. We want the radical by itself, so we have to add 6 to both sides. The -6 and the +6 are eliminated. So on the left side, you have x plus 12 equals x plus 6. To undo the radical, you're going to go ahead and you have to square it. So once you square a radical, you're going to have x plus 12 on the left side. And here you have x plus 6 times x plus 6. So this will be x plus 12 equals x times x, which is x squared, x times 6, which is 6x. And then you have 6 times x, which is 6x. And then 6 times 6, which is 36. So you have x plus 12 equals x squared plus 6 plus 12x plus 36. Subtract x from 12x. Subtract 12 from 36. So that's 0. So you have x squared plus 11x plus, in this case, 6 minus 2 is 4. 6 minus 2 is 4. 3 minus 1 is 2, so it's 24 equals 0. Now you can use the quadratic formula, or you can factor. So you want to get the factors of 24. You have 12 times 2, 8 times 3, 4 times 6. And the only ones that are going to add up to be 11 are 8 plus 3. So the factors are x plus 8 times x plus 3 equals 0. And then the last step is just to set each of them equal to 0. So you have x plus 8 equals 0, so x equals -8. And the other answer is x plus 3 equals 0, so x equals -3. So now remember, you got to check for extraneous answers. So control square root -8 plus 12, and then outside you have -6, and that gives you -4, so that's not going to be the answer. So -8 is not the answer. So I would try -3, control square root -3 plus 12 -6, and it should be -3. Let's see. Yes, so your answer is -3. Number 4, we're going to solve for x. So we have 3x is equal to the square root of 20 plus 3x. So we're going to go ahead and square both sides. So 3x times 3x gives you 9x squared equals, and then the radical and the 2 cancel. So you're left with, and I'm going to start with 3x plus 20. So what I probably want to do is move the 3x and 20 to the left side. So you're subtracting 3x and you're subtracting 20. So you have 9x squared minus 3x minus 20 equals 0. I'm going to solve again by factoring. So we have 9 times negative 20 gives you negative 180. So we have x squared minus 3x minus 180 equals 0. You multiply two numbers to get 180, but you want it to be equal to the middle. So the only one that fits that is negative 15 times 12 gives you negative 180. So negative 15 plus 12 gives you negative 3. So now what you have is you have x minus 15 and you have x plus 12 equals 0. You go ahead and divide by 9. And I'm going to simplify 15 divided by 9. That's divisible by 3. So that's 5 over 3. So this will be 3x minus 5. And then the other one is 12 divided by 9. So you divide by 3 and you get 4 over 3. So this will be 4x plus 3 equals 0. Okay, I did make a mistake. This should have been, the 3 goes up, so it's 3x plus 4 equals 0. So now I'm going to set each of them equal to 0. So you have 3x minus 5 equals 0. You add 5 to both sides. So you have 3x equals 5. So you divide by 3. So the first answer is 5/3. The next one is 3x plus 4 equals 0. Subtract 4, subtract 4. So you have 3x equals negative 4. So the other answer is negative 4/3. So we got to check. So let's go ahead and substitute. So we have 3 times 5/3, right? Equals the square root of 20 plus 3 times 5/3. And let's see if that will give us the same answer. So the answer is 5/3. You'd want to check. You want to check the other one. So the other answer is negative 4/3. So I'm just going to write here negative 4/3. And then over here, I'm going to put negative 4/3. That's false. So your answer is 5/3. So number 5, a company uses a table to find the amount of workers needed for the number of jobs that they have. Use a power regression to find an equation that fits the data. So what I did is I already put it in the spreadsheet here. This is number of jobs, and that's amount of workers needed. Go to this graph here, and we know that this is the y-axis, and we know that this is the x-axis, and you notice it's kind of curved. So we're going to go to Menu, Analyze, and then Regression Power. And so our equation will be 96.5 times x to the 0.498. So that's the same thing as saying y equals 96.5 times the square root of x, because y equals 96.5 x to the power 0.498. This is describing a square root. So as a review, you got to put this into the spreadsheet and find the line of best fit by using the regression, the power regression. So we have to graph the equation. We notice that the parent function is square root of x, and it goes down 3 units. So the answer will not be A. It won't be the answer. A won't be the answer. C looks like it might be. B is not the answer. And D, it goes up. So that won't be the answer. So the answer is C. So the parent function, and in this case, the parent function is the square root of x, it went down, okay? In this example, the parent function went up 1 unit. So I'm going to write that parent. So the parent function of the square root of x, it went up 1. So this one is a reflection. C is a reflection, and it went down, so that won't be it. B is a reflection over the x-axis, and it went up. D, it just goes down, and we didn't go down. So your answer is A. So the graph of the cube root of x minus 1 using the parent function cube root of x, analyze the effect of the transformation. Well, you see the blue graph is the parent function and the red graph is a new function. And you notice that the minus 1 means it went to the right. So C went down, so that can be it. C went down. B, the parent function shifted to the left 1 unit, so that can be it. So now it's between A and B, and we know that A goes to the right and D goes up. So the answer is A. It states a graph of the cube root of x plus 1 using the parent function, analyze the effect of the transformation on the parent function. You see the one is on the outside of the radical, so that tells me that this function is going to go up. This function goes to the right. C, this function goes down, or the parent function goes down. So now it's between B and D. So B goes to the left and D goes up. So your answer is, what is the solution of the equation? So you have the square root of 2x minus 4, and then you have a plus 6 equals 10. So what you want to do is you want to subtract 6 from both sides. So you have the square root of 2x minus 4, and then you have 10 minus 6, which is 4. Now you want to raise it to the second power. So you have 2x minus 4 equals 4 times 4, which is 16. In this case, you add 4 to both sides. So you have 2x equals 20. And then you divide by 2, so x equals 10. So remember, you always want to check. So I went ahead and entered into the calculator, and you notice it's true because it comes out to 10. So number 11, we have the square root of x plus 7 minus 2 equals 4. What you want to do is you want to add 2 to both sides, and the negative 2 and the 2 cancel, so you're left with the square root of x plus 7 equals 6. On the left side, you're going to square, and on the right side, you're going to square. So you have x plus 7 equals 36. So x plus 7 equals 36. Subtract 7 from both sides, so you have x equals 36 minus 7, which is 29. So now we have to check. So we went ahead and substituted, and if we get 4, it's going to be the answer, and the answer is 4. How does the transformation f of x plus 7 affect the symmetry of the original graph, or what happens with the transformation? I'm going to show you something that you can do with your functions. So you see the first function, that's a parent function. I'm just going to say function 1, and what am I going to pass in function 1? X plus 7. Now, in our heads, we know that that's going to go inside the parentheses. It should go to the left. So let's see what happens. And you see the parent function, it went to the left. So what do we write down here? How does the transformation affect the original graph? It will shift to the right. 7 units, right? Without graphing, how can you tell if the graph of the parent function will be reflected across the x-axis when graphing y equals 4x cubed? Well, in this case, you know that it's not going to reflect because there isn't a negative in front of the x, in front of the 4. Okay, so what you would write, y equal 4x cubed won't reflect over the x-axis because it's missing a what? A negative, isn't it? Isn't it missing a negative? Now, and this one, in contrast to this one, that negative is there, so that means it is going to reflect over the x-axis. So this right here, you would write y equals negative 2x cubed will reflect over the x-axis. It says, what is the domain and range of this function? And you notice that the starting value is 0 and it goes towards infinity. So I do know that the domain will be this 1 to infinity. I know the range will start at 0 and it'll go up, so that's 0 to infinity. So now we just got to match which of these will be describing these two. Well, the ones that are less than will not be an answer. So these two will not be the answer. This is less than, that won't be an answer. This is less than, that won't be an answer. So the only answer that satisfies that is D. Which square root function, graph the square root function, identify the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts. Now, in this case, if you want to find the x-intercept of this graph, we need to know the transformation. The plus 3 means it's going to go to the left. So obviously it won't be C because it goes to the right. Obviously it won't be D because it goes up. And it won't be B. So the only answer that it could be is -3 comma 0 is the x-intercept and 0 square root of 3. So your answer is A. How does the transformation y equals f of x minus 4 change the point 327 in the original graph? Well, that minus 4 means that the parent function is going down 4 units. So guess what's going to happen 27? Isn't it also going to go down 4 units? So all you have to do is subtract 4. So your point should be 3 comma 23. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and graph. And all I'm going to do here is subtract 4 because the parent function is going to go down 4. Enter. Now you want to look at your table. Go to menu, table, split screen. Go to 3 and it's 23, so it went down. So that would be your answer. For number 18, let's kind of discuss the transformation. The plus 2 means that it's going to go up. The minus 2 means it's going to go right. And the negative means it's going to reflect. And the 0.5 means it's going to compress vertically. So let's kind of eliminate the answers. Well, obviously D is wrong because it didn't reflect. Okay, so that's wrong. B is also wrong because it went down instead of going up. So now it's between A and C. We know that it has to go to the right. So A is not it, so your answer is C. Number 20, we have the square root of q plus 8 equals 8. Go ahead and square both sides. So you have q plus 8 equals 64. Subtract 8. So q equals 56. Okay, so we're dealing with a cube root. So you're going to go through the process 11 times the cube root of 3 minus 2x, and then you have minus 6 equals 60. Go ahead and add 6 to both sides because you want the cube root by itself. Now remember, you can't be subtracting 3 and you can't be adding 2. You have to address the 11. So divide by 11. So you have the cube root of 3 minus 2x equals 66 divided by 11 is 6. Here you have to raise it to the third power. Raise it to the third power because it is a cube root. So to undo that cube, you have to raise it to the third power, cube root. So you have 3 minus 2x, and then we have 6 times 6 is 36. 36 times 6 is, 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3 is 216. So you have 216. You're going to subtract 3 from both sides. So you have negative 2x equals 213. And then you divide by negative 2. And I did check the answer with the key, so that's correct. Let's go ahead and check it with the calculator. So I typed it in. Let's go ahead and check. And the answer is 60. Number 22, the value of 2 will vertically stretch the parent function. So there's no reflection, so you notice that the answer A is wrong because that's a reflection. B, it went up. D, this is a compression, and this is a stretch, right? So your answer is C. What are the minimum and maximum values of this? So between the interval of 3 to 4, so go menu, table, and we have 3 is 1. 3, when x is 3, it's the value is 1. When x is 4, the y value is 2. So 3, 1 is the minimum point, and 4, 2 is your max. How does the graph 1/8 square root of x compare to the parent function? This will be a vertical compression by a factor of 1/8. Graph g of x using the parent function. Now, you see that negative in here? That's going to reflect over the y-axis. So in this case, B and D are incorrect. So now it's between A and C. 4 is going to be a compression by a factor of 1/4. So horizontally compresses by a factor of 1/4. So your answer is C. This one says the vertically stretches. It doesn't vertically stretch. It's actually horizontal compression. So your answer is